In this first episode, we're breaking down what chivalry really means. It's not about stunts or dominance, it's about devotion, presence, and creating space for peace. I'll share why emotional effort isn't thirst, why love can't just patch wounds, and why the mirror matters more than the bandage. If you ever wonder what love looks like with clarity instead of performance, well, this is where you start.
Do you wanna be? Do you wanna be more than friends? Do you wanna be? Do you wanna be more than friends? Do you wanna be? Do you wanna be more than friends? Do you wanna be? Do you wanna be more than friends?
Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you made it. This space is for honest conversations about relationships and love, the small practices, the hard truth, and the quiet work that actually changes things. Each week, I open my heart in this space so we can talk openly, learn together, and build healthier kind of ways of loving. Stay with me. Let's make room for clarity, courage, and real connections. Welcome to A Couple Questions with Chris. And before I go any further, let me say this. I'm not a relationship expert, I'm not a guru, and I don't have all the answers. I'm simply just a hopeless romantic with a couple questions. Now, today's question is simple but layered. What is chivalry? And I'm not looking for the textbook definition. I'm certainly not looking for what Instagram or Facebook got to say. I'm talking about the real thing. I'm talking about the emotional blueprint. Is chivalry about opening doors or protecting peace? Is it about gestures or presence? Because somewhere along the way, chivalry got misunderstood. See, they say chivalry started with knights and armor and swords and codes of honor. But me personally, I think chivalry got started with intention. The way a man stood between chaos and peace, the way he showed up, not just with gestures, but with presence, right? Chivalry was never about just opening doors. It was about opening space for safety, for softness, for truth. And, and somewhere along the way, the armor got romanticized. But the real protection is emotional. And that's what I'm here to talk about. As a boy, the youngest child, I always felt like I had a front row seat to just about everything. The rhythm of my house, the tension, the tenderness, and the truth. And watching my mother and a relationship with my stepfather, and that was one of the greatest things I ever seen. I never seen a man love a woman like that. I mean, he took care of her when she was sick. He cooked, he cleaned. I mean, I once seen this man take apart a whole wash machine and put it back together. Now, there's some people that might not be nothing, but I come from the inner city. Sports were my claim to fame. So seeing a handyman, that was amazing, right? And not only that, but the way he loved my mother, the way he treated her, the way he talked to her, he towered over her in size, but I always felt like she was the dominant one. Her voice was always heard, even when she was wrong. I never seen him, not one time, I never seen him show her up. I never seen him disrespect her. I watched him treat her with the utmost care. And and although he wasn't my biological father, I learned so much from him. I learned how to be a man. I learned about love. I learned how to protect peace without raising your voice. And that's chivalry, right? That's what he taught me. That chivalry was it wasn't about dominance, it was about devotion. It's not about being in control, it's about being in tune. And I carried that into my early dating life. Opening up doors, pulling out chairs, walking on the right side of the street. I was doing those things not because it was trendy, not because I wanted points, but because I thought that's what care looked like, right? And I'll be honest, sometimes I got called old fashioned, like I was doing too much, like I was trying to impress instead of express, but I wasn't performing. I was remembering. I was remembering what I saw. I was remembering how that made me feel. And I was trying to recreate peace for someone else. And I admit it, sometimes I felt like that I was like at a fork in the road. The woman that I was meeting, the ones I was taking out on these dates, they didn't appreciate it. Nah. My candor wasn't appreciated. My gestures of love wasn't received. And I would plan a night, show up with intention, try to create peace, and it just felt like I was doing way too much. Like chivalry was outdated. Like care had become corny. And I started to wonder, maybe is chivalry dead? Chivalry can't be dead. I just think that we're just not used to being loved with the same intention anymore. I used to have conversations with my friends, my colleagues, even my coworkers, my relatives, about love, and they would pretty much say the same thing to a T. Chris, I keep meeting the same girls, the same bar, the same energy, the same disappointment. Chris, I keep meeting the same guys, the same bar, the same energy, the same scene, the same disappointment. And I would say, look, if you want to meet someone new or a different environment, you got to start fishing in different ponds, different lakes. Because if you're fishing in the same place everybody else goes to, you're just going to catch the same thing over and over and over. Maybe it's time to explore and step outside of your norm, outside of your comfort zone, so you can meet the kind of people you say you wanted to meet. And that's what I did, right? That's what I did. When I was at the fork in the road, I had to realize something. The kind of woman I was attracting wasn't the kind of woman I wanted to settle down with. Because I came from the inner city and love looked a certain way to me, especially what I seen in the movies, Love Jones, Waiting to Exhale, Love and Basketball. Like these things taught me love. That was the blueprint for me. That was where my emotional language came from. That's what chivalry was to me. Then it happened. I went different places. I started meeting women that noticed, women that saw that they noticed everything I was doing. The little things mattered to them, the details, the attention. And that's when I knew that chivalry wasn't dead. It was just misunderstood. And in that moment, I made a vow to myself that no matter what, whether I had romantic intentions, whether we were just friends or acquaintances, that I was going to treat every woman with a certain level of chivalry, with a certain level of respect, opening doors, being polite, being respectful, not because I wanted something, but because this is what I thought I wanted to be. From this moment on, I had an obsession with being a gentleman. I had an obsession with chivalry. So here's my second question. Is emotional effort being mistaken for thirst? Because somewhere along the way, thoughtfulness got rebranded, candor got robbed and labeled as corny. And care started to feel like a risk. You send a good morning text. They say you're doing too much. You plan a date with intention. They say you're trying too hard. You express how you feel, and suddenly you're pressed. But here's the thing. I wasn't trying to impress. I was trying to express. I wasn't chasing. I was choosing. I was choosing to show up. I was choosing to be clear. I was choosing to care. And if that's thirst, then maybe we need to redefine hydration, because emotional effort isn't weakness, it's clarity, it's presence, it's peace. And I get it. Some men, they really do a good job going out of their way to be charming, right? They go out of their way to be romantic, but really they're going out of their way just to score. I understand that. And I understand how one man can mess it up for all men. And that's fair. And if a woman's being lied to, she's being hurt, and she's being played by someone who dressed up charm as manipulation, then yeah, it's hard for her to put those walls down. It's hard for her to open her heart again. And that's fair. It's unfortunate, but it's real, because sometimes chivalry gets dressed up as thirst. And sometimes chivalry gets dressed up with the intent to hit a home run with no intentions to ever round the bases. And that's exactly why my obsession with chivalry begun. That's exactly why being a gentleman for me took root, because so many people are hurting And so many people don't even know what it looks like to see a gentleman. And that's sad. And I felt like, look, if somebody's going to bring that back, why not it be me? And I don't want applause or I don't want nobody to notice it. I'm just trying to do it because this is what helped me heal. I want to do it for clarity and peace. But it's dangerous because women can have the same ill intent, especially if she's one of those women that's been fishing in those same ponds that people go to when they're hurt. And if you're hurt, if you're damaged, if you're broken, the best thing to do is heal. Self-reflect before you take those wounds and scars into a new relationship because love isn't a bandage. It's a mirror. And if you're not ready to look at yourself, you'll keep attracting reflections of your pain. That's why I take chivalry seriously. That's why I treat being a gentleman like a lifestyle. Not because I'm perfect, not because I'm trying to be perfect, but this is what helped me heal. And I was ready when love showed up. It's not just a vibe, it's a vow. It's not just a flex, it's a foundation. And for me, it's a fan. Stay with me. It's a fan that keeps peace cool, a fan that keeps love alive, a fan that reminds me that being a gentleman is still revolutionary. So, what is chivalry? It's emotional effort being mistaken for thirst. And it could certainly look like that if the intentions aren't pure. But like Bob Marley said, it's not about who wants you, it's about who values you and respects you. The problem today is good people aren't cherished, they're used. Find someone who holds the door for you. Find someone who helps strangers, not because they want something, but because that's the right thing to do, who works without expecting anything in return, who accepts your thoughtful gestures even when they fully don't understand them. Because if someone can't recognize your effort, they'll never understand the level of respect you're offering, and they won't know how to return it. I want to say this. Thank you for spending a couple minutes with me, right? And every conversation here is about opening space for honesty, for opening, for love, for kind of relationships that can help us all grow. Carry these thoughts with you. Let them challenge you. Let them remind you that love is work, but it's worth the work, right? And also, while you're at it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share with your friends. Tell them I know this guy named Chris. Last thing, love hard, laughed often, and always, no matter what, live Blanco. Till next time, a couple questions with Chris.